to this edition of Tips and Tricks. Today I'm going to be talking about the best bait casting reel for under $100. Now, I've been fishing for bass for over 40 years, from way back in the late 70s. And trust me guys, I have fished a lot of bait casters. And my whole history of bait casters and fishing them, I don't, buy the best of the best. I was never that kind of guy. $100 and less. I wasn't someone who would spend like 200, 300, whatever on a reel. I know those reels are great. But most of us bass fishermen, and especially ones that are new to it, start out on a budget. And as a budget, you're not going to be spending $400 or $500, $600 on a rod and reel combo. And there's a lot of combos that are in that under $100 range. And the reality is, once you get to the under $100 range, for most reel companies, and I told you I fished them all. I fished from Daiwa to Abu Garcia to Bass Pro Shops to Quantum to Fluger, Shimano, just about any of the long-lasting and reel companies that have been around since I started fishing back in the 70s. I pretty much fished all of their reels, and I usually keep it $100 and less on my reels. So I've fished a lot of $100 and less reels. And yes, now there's some new ones like Casking, and Lew's has been around a long time. Never really fished Lew's, and Concept 13. There's a lot of under $100 companies that are trying to come in and break into the fishing industry with economy, supposedly quality, under $100 reels. And like I said, before this became sort of a trend, I fished a lot of them. All different, like I said, all different companies and everything. And so I did that best of and gave you sort of an overview of the best reels, and I've done the one on reels that are totally pieces of what, and you should never buy them. But so I wanted to whittle it down to what I would, if I only had one reel to buy, and I could only buy that reel for the rest of my life. That's kind of what I want to do in this little tips and tricks for you. And that is, in fact, the Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier. Now, this is the original Pro Qualifier. This actual version has been around and was around for, I think they just changed it last year to now Pro Qualifier 2. But this thing had been around for, God, I don't even know, almost 10 years as a reel that Bass Pro Shops was selling. And it was their most popular. It had like thousands and thousands of full 5-star ratings. And this reel right here, I have had this since 2010. And it's a workhorse. And it never, ever has failed. Since 2010, I've used this thing in the saltwater. I've fished it all the time. The truth is, I've never oiled this thing. This is from 2010. It's now 2019. I've never put a drop of oil in this thing, even after fishing it in the saltwater and everything else. And it never fails. The anti-reverse is always anti-reverse. It never slips. The thumbnail, constant, never halfway down, never does. The thing is amazing. And now they have the Pro Qualifier 2. This one originally had a deep spool version and a regular version. It had like 4.7, 4.9, 5.2, 6.3, 6.4. It had just so much range in this one reel. And they went to now the Bass Pro Shops Qualifier 2, and they slimmed it down, they lightened it up a bit, and I think they just sort of said, okay, after 10 years we have lots of information, we know what people want in this reel, we know the gear ratio and all that. So now it's actually, as the Pro Qualifier 2, it has 3 models, right and left. It has a 5.6, a 6.8, and a 7.5. 23, I think 28 and 31 inches per reel handle. And like I said, this one was a little bit heavy, the original. They slimmed it down a little, it's a little bit lighter. But I've already had viewers of mine that have bought the new version. And they're $99.99. It just comes in under 100, I mean, before tax. But that's still in the list of under 100. They've already bought it. They've already thanked me. They said, oh my God, this thing feels amazing. It casts amazing. I can't believe it's a $100 reel. And they've fished a lot of other reels too, but they know my history, my 40 years of bass fishing, and they trusted me. And that's why I'm kind of coming out and saying, hey guys, like I said, I know there's a lot of stuff, and especially on YouTube, a lot of those channels, a lot of like Concept 13, Cast King, all those people, that's where they're trying to get into the industry. So they're flooding all these up and coming channels with their reels saying, oh yeah, we'll send you a reel, you just promote it for us. And of course they're going to say, oh yeah, it's the best reel ever, oh it's so smooth and that. But I've spent 40 years, guys. I burned out Daiwas, I burned out Shimanos, I burned out Quantums, I burned out Flugers, I burned out pretty much every version of the reels that have been around forever that are $100 or less. And the one reel I've never burned out was this Pro Qualifier. Like I said, this thing's been around for 9 years. Saltwater, we're not even supposed to fish it. And just tons of fishing with it. And it's got tons, and the thing is still pretty much exactly the way I bought it in 2010. It's just as smooth, and I never put oil in it. I mean, and the drag is smooth. It's got a dual braking system. It's got the magnetic on the side. You pop it open. It's got the configural inside. It has a pretty heavy drag system on it. I'm telling you guys, if there was one reel, and somebody said, hey, if there was one reel you had to fish for the rest of your life, for under $100, what would it be? It would be this one, the Pro Qualifier 2. I said this dealer won, but it's a workhorse. They didn't change much on the inside. They just sort of slimmed it down, probably slimmed down some of the weight in the handle and other things like that to give it, a little bit lighter, smaller profile. But I want to be honest with people. I'm not going to promote something that I don't believe in. And I just get a lot of people now that say, hey, what do you think is the best reel? Hey, I'm kind of on a budget. And budget thing seems to be huge on YouTube, $5 challenge and what you get for $30, that's quality and all that. So I wanted to come on here and say, hey guys, I'm pretty sure this is the best reel. If you want something that's going to last you for 9 and 10 years and go through abuse and even fish it in saltwater, which you're not, I mean, I rinse it off afterwards, but I fish a lot of other freshwater in saltwater and rinse them off and everything, and it ended up destroying them pretty quick. But this thing went through all that. It's still the best. I actually bought one of these that was the Pro Qualifier right when they were switching over because they had sales on them. And usually once a year you can get this thing for 79 bucks, usually around Christmas. So that's kind of a bonus. 7 bearing. But there's absolutely nothing I can say about this reel that is a negative. It's just a workhorse. It sticks around, it lasts. You can catch tons and tons of fish on it. It doesn't mess up. It doesn't stress the gears, anything. So I want to come on here and tell you guys, if you want what I think, and I'm pretty sure is the best bait casting reel for under $100, it would be the Bass Pro Shops Pro Qualifier 2. I would say the one, but they don't make it. They upgrade it. But all the reviews, everything I've heard on it, it's still pretty much just as amazing as this. They just kind of put it on a diet and slimmed it up a little bit and reduced the amount of options, because I'm sure after all those years, like I said, they realized that people want it in this, this, and this. So why produce a whole bunch of the reels that aren't getting bought as much? So that was sort of their concept. But it's the same reel, they just kind of slimmed it. But yeah, there you go, guys. The best bait casting reel you could ever buy for under $100. Well, that's going to do it for this tips and tricks. I hope it helps. Until next time.